Hi everyone, ScrappyKathy here, and I'm going to just speed through this layout share video. These are January layouts. This one I think actually on top is the December layout. It's a calendar I made during a challenge over at Inspired by Memories, and I'm retiring the page. It has been up on a clipboard, so I'm just kind of putting it aside. You may have seen this one on my other social media. This is a cut file from Virginia Walker at Confessions of a Paper Addict. It was a free cut file, and with this big sale, I cut it out and glued individual pieces of ribbon to it. So that's that one. I called it Ahoy. This one, I needed to use the letter X for a challenge. The alpha challenge at For the Love of Pretty Paper. So I called this one Extra Sweet. Love that picture of my son and his daughter. Here's a quickie that I made using, these are notepads from I think a Heidi Swapp notepad. Just a quickie. This one I actually misunderstood the challenge, and I covered an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper with tons of washi tape that I thought evoked a big city feel, and put some pictures of a trip to Chicago that my husband and I made. This was for a challenge at the Secret Not Secret Kit Club party to use up a bunch of alphas. So I used the alphas as my background. These are some photos from a trip to Hawaii that we made in 1998 that I had just found and hadn't scrapped yet. So that's what that is. These are also from Hawaii. And this large photo is I actually did the mixed media on paper and then printed the photo on top of the photo paper that I did the mixed media on, just to see what would happen. And lo and behold, that's what happened. Did a smaller one as a test and with the opposite orientation. So anyway, I'm not entirely happy with the composition of this one, but I love the memory, and that's really all that counts. Let's see. This is an IKEA layout. This is actually a still that I screenshot from a video that I love. It's my granddaughter Ava, who has always, since she was a little bitty girl, considered a trip to IKEA as good as a trip to the circus or the zoo. So this was a fun page to do. Another one about Ava. This is I took a photo of this carousel, which Ava loves, and I ran it through a filter. I think it's I forget what the filter is on the Prisma app on my phone, and decided that I'd print it big, and Ava kind of guided me in this page, so I thought that the purple went nicely with her shirt. This is one that I did for a Secret Not Secret challenge to use a celestial look. And this is a it's a scan of a color burst piece that I made, and I blew it up and printed it 12 by 12. And this shows my crafting table and kind of talks about how much I love that. This is one about Ava loving sequins, and she spelled it in, if you can, I don't know if you can see right here, she actually drew this. This is a Christmas tree, and she put a jewel at the top for the star. There's some presents underneath it. I'm not really sure what this is, other than maybe an oversized ornament with some sequins, and she spelled sequin S-E-K-I-N. So who wouldn't want to capture that? And this is her at her little craft table that used to be down here with me. And she's a big girl now, all the way up to 10 years old, and she really has, I don't know, more to do on her phone than she does in her craft room. But occasionally, I might get her back. Another Ava page, beach page on a red background. Not quite sure what inspired me to do that, but there it is. This is about I'm not sure that this is coming out very clear here, and I'm not quite sure what to do about it. Anyway, this is a tropical page about our trip to Hawaii, and back in those days, we actually, when we made a trip, we looked up 5Ks that were running in the area. So it's called Off to the Race. We were just getting ready to run a 5K in Kauai, and this is the end. And this is the post-race table. Let me tell you, those tropical fruits are ripe and wonderful and better than any you could get anywhere else. Okay, here's another IKEA page. That's Ava in that egg chair, and I was obviously using using hexagons here and a certain color scheme. This is a one for a blind challenge. This was done for a Mind the Scrap party that I just absolutely had a wonderful time with, and I used this Bella Boulevard paper and these things. It's a picture of her dad carrying her around in a toy bucket. That was a bucket for large Lego-like blocks. So this is that same guy there. That's my son. A portrait that we had done. I'm not sure I understand why this is fuzzy, and I hope it's not coming through that way to you. If I get it close, it seems to clear up. But just a kind of a boy page, a fairly simple boy page, and for the challenge, I cut some scissors out. This is Kate. I just scrapped this picture again because I found some others that went with it. But this is a holiday love, a picture of Katie serving cookies in 2005. This is about the fact that this year when we put these the mama and baby reindeer underneath the stockings, and someone filled a stocking with too much stuff, the stocking fell and broke these guys, but I'm glad I had a photo of them before they went away. This is one of Grandpa and Ava waiting for her mom to pick her up, and just as content as they could be on the couch there. This is a then and now photo page about my grandson, and here's the smiley little tot he was, and this is the big old amazing football player that he is now. These photos in here are all filtered. They're Christmas time photos, and I ran them all through that Prisma filter, and I loved how the snow came out in the Christmas village. I just thought that was actually prettier than the rather old Christmas village that is kind of getting ratty. And this is actually a filtered photo of a cookie that I made based on a Martha Stewart recipe, and it has herbs. It has rosemary and thyme. A page about an art show that Katie and Allie went to, and they were wearing their matching American Girl doll dresses. This is one about a tree. I just pulled an embellishment from the next page off onto this one. It's about a tree being gone. Not quite sure what the story was that I was supposed to tell there. It's not a particularly interesting page, but it met the criteria. This is a winter sunrise photo or page, and this is an older photo. This is a more recent one. Again, not sure why that's not not clear, but I'll get it up there so you can see detail anyway. This one uses some gorgeous Vicky Bouton paper. It's about the day we went to pick up our Winnebago, and Katie was with us. She was, I don't know, a few months old. And I thought these colors kind of represented the excitement. I had big dreams. The title refers to the dreams I had of all of us taking many, many trips in the RV, and it didn't exactly happen. But, and this is a watercolor piece that I did, and I printed it on 8.5 by 11 to use as a background here, and to go with a lot of these beautiful flowers. And it's a photo of Ava asking if I wanted to do chalk drawing with her, which of course I did. This is a page about how my roux is better than your roux. It's my my secret gumbo, and all that implies. Being a Cajun, of course. This is a picture of all three kids, Katie, Barrett, and Ava, at a store, and this is a filtered photo of the same, and I thought it kind of went with the black and white background. A cutout heart with butterflies behind it, talking about my dear hubby. This one has some stitching. I hand drew that heart and stitched it. This one actually uses a color burst page that I did and printed and then cut up into strips of paper. And the photo is from one of my last nights in Anchorage when I was working in Alaska back in 97. This is a beach page that has a beach photo and a cutout sign of a photo, Pensacola Beach, our home away from home. And this is a stamped image that I watercolored for a card, and I took a photo of it so I can use it on scrapbooking pages. And these are some glittery starfish on a watercolor, a distress oxide background. So lots of mixed media going on in that page. It's about when the kids made flower pots for their mom. Used torn paper. I do that a lot. Everyday obsession, just gardening. I love gardening. When I'm not scrapping, I'm gardening. If I'm happy and I'm not scrapping, it's because I'm gardening. So this is one of the gardens that we've had in the past. This one actually won Yard of the Month that year that this photo was taken. This is a mixed media piece. I wanted to have the light colors and then the shadow colors down below. So I turned the stencil upside down and used different color bursts. It's messy, but that's kind of what I expected and what I wanted. And this is a photo of that same garden that I just showed you. It goes back to, I want to say, 97, I think. This is a photo I took at the whole background is a giant photo that I took at the Anchorage Zoo. I visited there right before I left. And then I have some photos of some of the animals there at the zoo. This is a tiger that my company had donated to them. And this guy was just so personable and sweet. This is another torn paper page that features Ava getting ready to go down to the beach at a local lake near here. This is a very mixed media kind of underwatery looking background, and I used what basically are card making supplies to do this little piece right here, and an underwater picture of Barrett. Some Christmas pages, an old picture of Katie and Barrett holding an even older picture of Katie and Barrett, and this is a new picture of Katie and Barrett holding that same old picture, which is really one of my favorite Christmas ornaments. This is my son on his very first birthday, and the photographer decided he wanted to wrap him with a towel and put him in a tub. And my son apparently thought it was child abuse, so he was very unhappy, but they got a great photo of his pout, his pursed lip. I did a 10 Things I Love About You page for a challenge, and featured 3 filtered photos of my husband in front of the White House. And here's a date night that we had to Bahama Breeze, and I used all those gorgeous crepe paper, I'm losing it, Wild Heart collection. So that's that. This is a we love acai bowls, and our acai bowl place called Lovable has got a new one called Blue Sky that features a blue spirulina. And so I tried one that day and took a picture of it because it was really beautiful. Decided to do a page about it. This one is a Boy Scout jamboree that we were getting ready for in 1982, and that's my son crawling around under the table trying to run a wire. This one is a bunch of stamps using different colors of distress oxides, and with some water dripped and sprayed so that you'd get that effect. And I actually had this watercolory looking paper, and that's Ava doing her homework at our table on top of my scrapping mat. This is one I lifted. I wish I could remember who I lifted it from. It was a layout that was supposed to have lots of stars, and I've got little packets with lots and lots of different stars. And because it was about stars, I talked about my favorite Christmas movie, which is Die Hard. And someone on Facebook had put this out there, and I borrowed it without permission, so please don't tell. This one is one of my favorites. It's a picture of me on our trip to Austria, and I had seen a layout on, I believe it was For the Love of Pretty Paper, with rainbow colored shapes. I forget what they were. So I decided to cut, I didn't have whatever shape that was, so I decided to cut rainbow colored feathers. And I just kind of arranged them randomly and used some enamel dots and bling around them. This one was one that Laura Rumble posted on For the Love of Pretty Paper as an example of a monochrome kind of layout. And I had this photo of a castle in Austria from when we went out on a sleighing trip. And I had this handmade paper that I wrinkled up and kind of pasted on unevenly. And I found lots of lace and bling and string, and decided to do a Sound of Music take on it, since the castle was actually the one near Salzburg where the Sound of Music was filmed. This was a large cutout title, and I hand drew and cut those out and distressed them. And it's about Iggy, our little tiny cat that grew up to be a 27-pound giant cat that everyone thought was a wild animal that we were keeping in the house. This is probably some of the very oldest paper I've had, and this is Ava picking lemons. We've had a Meyer lemon tree since before Ava was born, and every year she always wants to be the one to pick the lemons. So this year was no exception. We left the last lemon on there for her to do, and as you can see, the tree is not doing all that well inside. It'll be very happy to go back outside sometime soon, any day now. This is a picture of Ava, just a random picture from when we took her out for a drink and a meal, and I just thought that was kind of a sassy smile, and I had this great floral piece from Cheeky Studios, so I used it. This is a picture of the three kids painting the sand part of what was sand, water, sky, a beach scene in Katie's room. And I used nearly every loose flower and fussy cut flower that I had on here, which must have been the point. And it uses my favorite Amy Tangerine background paper. This is a layout I did for, it was a design team assignment for Load, which was in February, but I did it in January. And these are pictures from a trip we made to Monterey for a concert, and it's got hidden aspects. Some journaling is on here, and then I tuck it back there. This little book slides in here, and there are some more photos and some more journaling inside it. So the prompt at Load was to have something hidden or surprising on your, something unexpected on your layout. So the title, Delight in the Unexpected, talks about how we expected to enjoy the music, but we weren't sure that we'd enjoy a beach at the 1st of January, but Monterey Beach was absolutely gorgeous, and there were no lines at the aquarium. Now this is a Project Lifestyle page with the rest of the photos that we did. This is a career page, a group I worked with, just using some older supplies. And this is a Kids Are All Right page featuring current pictures taken on Christmas Day of my 3 grandchildren and some gorgeous pink fresh papers. That's it. I've taken up a lot more time than I thought. Enjoy, and I'll have some more coming up.